Hey, Team Brantford, welcome to another edition of the Brantford Sessions. My name is Steve Babcock. I'm the manager of corporate initiatives. Did you know that the City of Brantford is a destination marketing organization? I also did not know that, so I decided to reach out to my friend Sara Monroe, who's the manager of tourism, culture, and sport, to learn more about Tourism Brantford. So in this first episode, we're going to be discussing the importance of forming strong partnerships, both internally and externally, and delivering exceptional customer service. So Sara, welcome to the Brantford Sessions. Like when I worked in Burlington, tourism, I don't even know if tourism existed actually when I was there. It certainly wasn't part of the city. And then when I went to Oakville, tourism was there, but it seemed very removed. Like this is the first municipality that I've worked at where tourism is actually like built within the city and has like resources and it actually has some focus. Like so maybe just provide a bit of an outline on what you guys do in tourism and what that looks like.
Sure. So Tourism Brantford, that's what we call ourselves. We're the tourism division within the Economic Development and Tourism Department. But Tourism Brantford's a destination marketing organization. So whenever you talk to anyone in tourism, everybody uses a lot of acronyms. The acronym is a DMO. So a destination marketing organization is a DMO. There are destination marketing organizations across Canada, and we are different. And you've noticed that in that we are actually part of the municipality. In other cities or other destinations, they are arm's length from the municipality, so they receive substantial funding, but they do operate independently. And in a lot of ways, there's pros and cons to that. One of the pros that we find is obviously the integration with municipal services, but also that we don't have to charge membership fees. So our salaries are paid by the taxpayer. So for us, we can then be able to promote everyone as equally as possible. We don't just promote the people who can pay memberships to be promoted. So we do have some pay to play programs, but very, very few, and they're cost recovery programs. So those advertising fees just pay for distribution and printing. So our role is to market the destination of Brantford for people outside of the community. So that's people from about 40 kilometers and farther. And each member of our staff has their own expertise. So we all have what we call our own portfolios, and those are dependent on what your expertise are. So we have a sport tourism coordinator. We have someone who does travel media, someone who does arts and culture, which includes actually coordinating our public art collection here in the city, as well as doing film attraction. We have someone who does group tours, including meetings, conventions, and motor coaches. And then I handle culinary and leisure is cycling, paddling, and trails. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions we have is that we run events. We don't if we can avoid it. We certainly do not run events. Our job is to make those events successful by supporting the people behind them. And we work behind the scenes to provide those business supports. So anything from bidding on conferences and larger sporting events, and then helping to coordinate the people who make that successful and leading those people. We do one-on-one business consultations. We develop new tourism products that help to have visitors not only see what is our best of the best, so those very tourism-friendly, tourism-ready businesses, but also to find those hidden gems along the way that make Brantford what it is.
Cool. That's actually a pretty good rundown, and so I obviously don't have a lot of exposure to your department and the things you guys do. So that's pretty interesting to learn all that stuff. What you mentioned the I guess the relationship interaction you have because of the way that you're set up within the city. So what are the departments that you work closest with? Like how do you partner internally?
Well, although we're physically isolated, at least right now, we do work with departments across the corporation, and it really depends on which division within our department you're talking about. So economic development obviously works a lot with planning, building, bylaw. We do too in tourism, and we work most closely with communications and community engagement, park services, facilities, But then we also work pretty closely with clerks, legal, insurance and risk management, licensing. So we're working across the corporation, but on little and larger projects. So it really depends on what that project is. We have cross-departmental working teams that exist for public art and film because both of those touch so many departments. And then we have larger events like the Ontario 55 Plus Winter Games, where there's staff members from across the corporation who are involved with that from the very beginning to make sure that that runs smoothly. But then daily, we work with external partners, so different levels of government services, obviously community volunteers, but then we work one-on-one with museums and galleries, local sport organizations, group tour companies, restaurants, breweries. We have a new distillery in town. So we're working with those small business owners daily.
Yeah, so you're almost like this, you're almost like the middleman between this, you're part of you're part of the city, you're deeply connected to the city, but then you're also this major touch point for the community as well. You're working with all the local businesses and all that stuff. And so that is this the best model then? It sounds like what you have is a best practice, like what you're doing compared to other municipalities that I've worked in, where they were very arm's length and weren't as renowned, I will say. They didn't really have like the same emphasis on tourism that you guys do. Is this common, your approach, or is this something that is unique to the industry?
I don't know if it's common. I think it's very much unique to our team that we focus on getting as many partners to the table as possible and communicating what we're doing to as many people as possible as quickly as we can. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a little bit unique to us and the way that our team values those community connections. So at the same time, we're so customer focused. That is our bread and butter, is to provide exceptional customer service. That is our day-to-day. Everyone has to be customer focused. That's just who we are. Yeah. So if we're not keeping those open connections with our partners, then we don't know what we're talking about. It's not like we're developing that product ourselves. We're telling the community what everyone else has developed. So we have to stay in touch. We have to always have our ear to the ground.
So I really enjoyed my conversation with Sara and learning more about Tourism Brantford and how she and her team works with their internal and external partners. This has come up as a theme in previous episodes, but my light bulb moment for this episode is reinforcing the importance of understanding who your partners are and how they contribute to the delivery of your service. And Tourism Brantford is a really interesting case study because their partners are also their customers. So now that you've learned more about what Tourism Brantford does, tune into the next episode. We're going to talk more about what the future holds for Tourism Brantford and how they've been able to successfully navigate the COVID pandemic.